Hello and welcome to lesson 7.4, trapezoids. If you can, grab 3 different colored highlighters and let's get started. So a trapezoid is a quadrilateral with exactly one pair of parallel sides called bases. So let's highlight the word bases and then in the diagram what the bases are. Those are the 2 parallel sides. Now the other sides are called legs. And that would be these other 2 sides here. Now we also, it's not in the description, but we have something called base angles. So let's highlight that. And the base angles would be the angles that are connected to the base. And then we have another set. So actually, sorry, if you have a 4th color, that'd be great. If not, it's okay. And that would be down here. So these base angles and an isosceles trapezoid are congruent. And then these base angles down here, if it's an isosceles trapezoid, those are congruent. So actually, let's go to isosceles trapezoid. An isosceles trapezoid is just like an isosceles triangle, right? The 2 sides are equal, so these 2 legs are equal. Congruent legs, congruent diagonals, and congruent base angles. So we're going to use all this information to solve these questions down here. So let's look at number 1. So solve for x, the figure is a trapezoid. We know it's isosceles because these 2 legs are congruent. So that means the base angles are congruent, and 80 is equal to 23x minus 12. We can go ahead and solve by adding 12 to both sides. That's 92 equals 23x. And our last step is dividing by 23. So 92 divided by 23 is 4, right? 4 times 20 is 80, 4 times 3 is 12, 80 and 12 is 92, or use a calculator. All right, so now go ahead and pause the video and try number 2 on your own. All right, so it is a isosceles trapezoid. So since we know the legs are equal, that means these base angles are equal. So 65 is equal to 7x plus 16. And now we're going to solve for x by subtracting 16 from both sides. 65 minus 16 is 49. Come down 15 to 50, then 1 more is 49. And that equals 7x. And now divide both sides by 7. And 49 divided by 7 is just 7. So our next example involves the diagonals. It says solve for x, the figure is a trapezoid. But again, we know it's an isosceles trapezoid because these legs are congruent. So that means the diagonals are congruent. So these are just going to be equal to each other. wy is going to be equal to xz. So 23 is equal to 12x minus 1. And we just solve. So we're going to add 1 to both sides to get 24 equals 12x. We're going to divide both sides. I'm going to give myself more room. You can keep writing if you have enough room. All right, so I'm going to divide both sides by 12. And x is equal to 2. So go ahead and pause the video. Try number 4 by yourself. All right, so again, isosceles trapezoid, these legs are equal, so that means the diagonals are equal. So DF, which is 9, is going to equal CE, which is 3x minus 6. So we're going to solve for x by adding 6 to get 15 equals 3x, and divide both sides by 3. And x is equal to 5. So I know it seems like a lot of information, but the main things to know for this front side is that if it's an isosceles triangle, or isosceles trapezoid, sorry, that the base angles are equal and the diagonals are equal. Also, the legs are also equal, a whole bunch of equal things going on. But let's go ahead to the back, which is medians of trapezoids. And we're gonna need 3 colors again because there's 3 different kind of components here. So the segment that joins midpoints of the legs of a trapezoid is the median. So like the leg over here, like AD, the midpoint is E. The leg over here, BC, the midpoint would be F. So it's saying that, and this is also called a mid-segment. It's saying that this measure, this mid-segment, so let's start with that one, which in this case is EF, that's equal to half the sum of the bases. So that would be the sum of this base and this base here, okay? So we're going to use that kind of like a formula to solve these next questions. So number 5, find the length of the median of the trapezoid. The median RS has a question mark. That's what we're trying to find. So let's set it up as our midpoint or our mid-segment. Let's call it X is going to be half the sum of the bases. This base here is 11.6 plus, because it's sum, and then the measure of this base is 17. So it's equal to half 11.6 plus 17. So let's take our calculator. So 1/2, we're gonna let's make that 0.5 so we can put that in the calculator easily. And then 11.6 plus 17, we actually don't need to use the calculator, it's just 28.6. Or use the calculator if you need to. And so now, also another one that you could do mental math, right? It's gonna be 14.3, or just put it into the calculator, it's totally fine. But yeah, the half of 28.6 is 14.3. All right, so go ahead and pause the video, try number 6 on your own. All right, so same thing, our unknown, our mid-segment, our median here is gonna be half the sum of the bases, which are 16 and 48. All right, so 1/2, let's just change it to 0.5 just to make it easier for the calculator if we're gonna use that. We could keep it as 1/2 if we want to, it's okay. And then 16 plus 48 is 64. And then half of 64 is just 32. All right, so our next one is the same concept. We just have X now. So same thing with our midpoint in this one for number 7 being RS. So let's start with that. Let's put it up here. 19x plus 3 is going to be half the sum of our two bases here, which is 11 and 33. All right, so we have 19x plus 3 still, bring that down. And then let's add 11 plus 33 to give us 44. So we're just simplifying our right side first. And we still want to simplify one more time, right? We did the parentheses first, and now what's 1/2 of 44? That would be 22. I'm going to write it over here. 19x plus 3 is equal to 22. I'll put a little arrow, okay? Now we can go ahead and solve for x. Let's subtract 3 from both sides. We get 19x equals 22 minus 3 is 19. And I want to divide both sides. See, I have to try another arrow here. You guys should have more room than I do, so I'm sorry if this is confusing, but try to write in one stream, one line, please, if you can. So 19x divided by 19 so on both sides gives you x equals 1. Okay, so we started off with this one by saying our mid-segment or our median is equal to half the sum of the bases. We simplified inside the parentheses, and then we multiplied what's inside the parentheses by 0.5 to get 22, and then we solve for x. So go ahead and try number 8 by yourself. All right, so just to make this a little bit nicer, I'm going to start over here and see if that helps. So we have x plus 13. That's equal to half the sum of our two bases of 9 plus 25. And now let's copy everything else down and then do the parentheses. So x plus 13 equals 1/2. And now 9 plus 25 is 34. All right, now let's do one arrow. I think this will work out a little bit better. So now x plus 13 is equal to, and half of 34 is 17. All right, and now we can go ahead and solve. So let's subtract 13 from both sides. And x is equal to 14. All right. If you have any questions on this lesson, please let me know. Otherwise, hopefully we're ready for the test next time. And I will see you in the next lesson. Bye.